Located on the outskirts of Nagpur in central India, Prem Sewa Shikshan Sang is a collection of two homes, one for girls and one for boys, a clinic and two schools. The boys and girls finding refuge, encouragement, and an education at Prem Sewa are orphans or come from families struggling with abject poverty. Hunger and hardship keep these families from being able to educate their children. Today, Prem Sewa impacts over 1,200 children every year. But the story starts with a man, his bike, and a clear message from God to bring hope to children in India. Frank Julich was born in Germany. Frank lived with war, hunger, and hardship. As a young man, he became an apprentice carpenter. Cycling was his passion, and Frank took off on his bicycle for adventures in London, Paris, Amsterdam, Brussels, and Pakistan. A bike breakdown in Pakistan and a wanderlust to see India spurred Frank on to take a boat to Mumbai, where he fell in love with the country. While working in Canada, Frank gave his life to God, saying, "Father, I have lived half of my life for myself. The rest is yours. I am nobody. I know nothing. I can do nothing, but please use me anyhow." This prayer took Frank back to India, this time to work with Wycliffe Bible translators to translate the Bible into the Mochi tribal language. Wycliffe eventually had to pull out of the country, but Frank begged God to return. Going back to India alone, Frank continued his translation work. Seeing children in poverty, Frank took in a tribal boy as a cook. Soon there were 2 boys, and then eventually 15 boys in his care. Always willing to take in another child, Frank struggled to provide.
We had no money, but I kept taking kids. So then I felt a responsibility towards these children. So I went back to Canada in 1981 because somebody said, "Why don't you go and try to get $40,000? I used to get $100, $200 a month." Before I left with $40,000, and don't ask me how. So I came back here and we found this piece of land. There was no proper road. We had no fencing, no well, no trees, no nothing. There was nothing here. So we built this hut and the boys said, "We can't stay here." I said, "Why not? There's nothing here." I said, "We stay because I'm German. I'm stubborn. They call me squarehead. When I have a headache, I need 4 aspirins, 1 for each corner." So I decided we stay.
In October 1981, Prem Sewa was finally opened. The boys' home, Kalpana Bhavan, meaning House of Imagination, and the girls' home, Indira Bhavanhad, have cared for and educated thousands of children. Children from poor families are being transformed and given new futures. They are educated and cared for regardless of caste, creed, race, or religion. And children with disabilities are becoming self-reliant. Prem Sewa has become a center for hope for boys and girls alike. Realizing that the needs of the community would be ongoing, Frank made plans for future leadership.
From the beginning, when I came here, I knew one thing. This would not be a mission compound, where a succession of missionaries would come and hold the hand of my children. I wanted to raise somebody from the home who would take over from me.
Growing up, whenever Frank had an opportunity to give us a small task to help him to folding letters, writing, typing, we were happy to help him.
Bapu came to the school through his uncle in 1984, I think. He was about 9 years old. He grew up quietly. And like many people you read about, they suddenly come into their own and you don't know where they come from as such. And Bapu was such a kind of a person.
While working with Frank and learning from him, I did not realize that I'm going to become a director of Prem Sewa.
Now Bapu has many good qualities. He is clever, he has 2 degrees, he has everything it takes to run the society.
With Frank Julik's passing on December 5, 2021, Bapu is carrying the legacy of Frank forward across Canada to ensure that thousands more children will receive an education and the opportunity to learn about Jesus. Prem Sewa's present impact is funded by the faithful giving of Canadian supporters. God ordained Frank to begin the mission, and he has passed on that same passion to the next generation of leaders and donors.
We recently started new Frank Julik Pre-Primary English Medium School. Our dream is to see it grow into English Medium School for children of all grades in the years to come. Also, we want to see a new dormitory built so that we can help as many as children possible.
In the words of Frank, we can all become merchants of hope in the lives of children, to put smiles on their faces and laughter in their hearts. To hear them say, "I want to be a nurse, or a teacher, or a doctor, or a pastor, or something else." Without God, they could never dream of such goals. To support the work of Prem Sewa and impact the lives of children, giving them hope for the future, visit erdo.ca/sponsor-now and choose a Child Care Plus child from India, or give a one-time gift at erdo.ca/ccp community.
Thank you all for your continuous support, prayers, and love.